and the challenges of the same, limited educational opportunities. What do you expect his message to be?
I can only comment borrowing on a message he shared with the congregation in Philadelphia. There we have it, the Honda. The Kaiser Honda.
Yes,
there he
Honda.
He's aboard a Honda.
Yes.
Honda.
Pretty much a cousin of the Fiat.
A cousin of the Fiat.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very, very small car, very proper for Pope Francis. So his translator on his left, always close to him.
But he does speak some English, would that be correct?
Yes, he's able to read, he's able to speak a bit, but I don't think he's able to have a long conversation.
Right.
So for that, during the Mass or during the... he will talk in Italian. He will address the nation just now, most probably in English. Reading.
I wonder if we can get some sound
we need
from
to have
this
the
picture.
sound.
Perhaps the national anthems could be playing. Should be that should perhaps be the Kenyan national anthem playing, and then that of the Vatican City State. Fortunately, we can't get sound on that. But what does it say? What does the Vatican anthem?
It will be great if we can. So the Vatican anthems was created in 1949, 20 years after the creation of the state. The Vatican State was created in 1929, the 11th of February. Okay.
Here we are, let's listen.
Thank you. And there the two national anthems have played, and a gun salute follows.
momentary pause there. We expect that very high honor of the gun salute to reach 21. Really one of the highest honors that can be bestowed to a visiting dignitary of any kind, and this particularly reserved for heads of state. Perhaps a slight change of tradition there. We were not expecting Pope Francis to inspect the Guard of Honor as other heads of state may at times do, but at least they put on a performance for him, a beautiful parade to welcome him to the country. We also understand that the Pope did sign the guest book at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport with the most simple and beautiful message, which says, and I quote, "With prayer, love, gratitude for your care of travelers," signed Francis, and the date. Let's just respond to some of the feedback that you're sending in. Thank you so much for writing in a lot of welcome messages from Kenyans watching Citizen TV to Pope Francis. And a question, why accord a church leader a gun salute? From Simon Koech, does it symbolize peace? Well, it is a formal salute for a head of state. And remember that he is a head of state, the head of the Vatican City State. And so this is not just a visit of a religious leader, but that of a head of state and as such receives a formal military welcome, as would any other respected church, president. Martin Shege, I'm teasing you, Father Maloba, here a little bit, saying Father Maloba also drives a Honda. So you've got your own little Father Mobile, is it? Ivy Gaku saying Kenya becomes the first African state that Pontifex visits blessed Kenya. Benji Ndolo saying, and how do I like the accent of that analyst you have in studio? He's either Latin, Italian or French. He's Swiss. Gregoire is Swiss. He's a former Swiss guard.
Thank you very much. I try to improve this accent, but many people say they like, so I want to keep it.
Seems all right. We've understood you quite well, and thank you so much for your expert commentary on the same. We were expecting that President Kenyatta and His Holiness will be having some talks at some point. We're not quite sure if they're heading into State House or for that press news conference that should be happening also any minute now. But there should be a joint heads of state address at some point this evening. Coming up to almost an hour and a half since he touched his plane, the Pope flight touched ground in Kenya, and he set foot on African soil.
The fruits of 100 years of evangelization in Kenya is dedicated to all missionaries, catechists, Catholics, religious and lay people alike, who upon receiving the faith of Christ in their hearts, went forth to share it with others, and planted in every corner of the Kenyan soil. Evangelization is a process rightly compared by Jesus in the Gospel to the silent process of the seed germinating in the field. The present fruits of evangelization evident in so many activities of the Church, from our prayer life to small Christian communities, from parish life to religious dramas, from youth activities to special education. We have selected some of the highlights of the fruits of this evangelization to show the dynamic growth of the local church, and to thank one and all for making Christ alive in our community.
The commentary there explaining that the planting of a tree by Pope Francis symbolizes evangelism and really the planting of the seed, if you like, of Christendom, of the Christian faith in Kenya. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the origins of that and that message when it came to Kenya, Father?
Well, basically, when you think about evangelization, setting foot on our land many years ago from the coast of Mombasa, you realize that the kind of infrastructure we have now was not there in terms of transport, in terms of amenities, accommodation, and even the health care of the agents of evangelization. So it was very basic, and possibly means of transport was by foot and maybe by animal at some point, donkey, horse possibly, later on bicycles, motorbikes that have been there up until very recently, and so many other agents of evangelization continue to use motorbikes, and most recently vehicles of all kind. So we can really say that the 100+ years have witnessed a great